I think you missed more than a range creep, right? So
I missed.
that was 3 creeps, right?
Yeah.
So like the thing is, this DK, he's here, he's running, so he's actually not contesting your farm anyway, right? So it's kind of like irrelevant to jump this guy unless you're 100% sure you're gonna kill him. But then again, he's a Dragon Knight.
Yeah, but I feel
Yeah.
like if my disruptor does the wall thing, I have to help him.
Exactly. That's the thing. You were pressured by your ally to do something, right? And this is where like you need to make a judgment as a carry player and figure out what's the best situation, right? If this guy does this and then you're thinking like, hey, it's a DK, I can't kill him, you just ignore him, right? You just let him know I can't kill him. I mean, I'm gonna miss too many creeps. Say whatever you need to say, right?
I could have been 27 last hits.
Exactly. If you like our content, please do like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the notification button below so you'll be notified when a new video will be released. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Snowy? You said, I remember you telling us that you started playing like a lot just a few months ago?
Yeah, like I played like 1-2 games in 2018. And then I
Okay.
started playing more like 5 months ago.
Okay,
Now I
that's cool.
started playing Dota only 5 months ago.
Oh, nice. I mean, you're pretty high MMR considering it now. Where are you from, by the way?
Malaysia.
Malaysia. Nice. Okay.
Before I was playing Fortnite every day.
Oh, wait, before you're playing Fortnite. Oh, okay. That's a very big jump in different games. Very different games. That's for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna stream this Dota 2 to you. So since this is gonna be our first coaching session, what we're gonna do in this session is I'm gonna watch, like, we're gonna go through your replay, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about like what you're doing well, and I'm gonna try and get you to realize like what you could yourself be doing better, right? And that way, like, you're learning on your own, especially like how to better improve yourself. So next time you play, instead of me just straight up telling you, oh, this is what you have to be doing, like, and you not knowing why you're doing it, like, you will figure it out, and then next time you can see the lines on your own. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
This one was the Anti-Mage game where you said you're not sure why you lost. I think this is a perfect game to watch, actually. I love AM games and understanding stuff. Before we start on talking about, you know, how this game went and stuff, it's very important to understand in games that there are matchups do matter, and they're very, very important in games, right? Like, if you look at this game and you look at your Anti-Mage, like, you picked a fort, so there's 3 other heroes that were probably picked before that, and I'm assuming that was Earth Spirit, Rubik, and either Visage or Dragon Knight, right? Yeah, it's probably Dragon Knight. So when you see those 3 heroes already, like, you might want to start considering that AM, you know, might not be the best hero, because AM is the kind of hero where his mana void needs to be useful in the game, right? Like, if there's a target for it who's in a fight, you know, it's drawn out and it has low mana, then you can just go in and, you know, ult it, right? So in this kind of game, like, when you pick this AM and then the enemy blind picks like a Juggernaut and then they last pick up Visage to counter your AM, like, this lineup feels very like bad for you to begin with, because they're like this 5-man pushing with a lot of physical damage, and that's what AM doesn't like. He hates playing against physical damage lineups. I mean, one of the reasons, like, you're saying you didn't know why you lost, but like, I could already see from the draft where this might have already not been a very good AM pick situation. Carries have a big role where you need to actually counter the enemy offlaner, and hopefully your hero is also pretty decent against the 2 supports as well. Now, that comes with experience, but there's also like some websites that can help you figure out like what your hero is good against and bad against. Like, there's Dota Buff. My favorite one is actually, I like Dota Max. It's a Chinese website, but you can put like heroes in, and then you go to their index, and then you can see like what they're really good against and what they're really bad against in pubs. I can share you that later, so that can like help you in the future, like figure out in what position you want to pick some carry or something like that. But it's very important, because in this game I can already see like you're playing from at a disadvantage, like a disadvantageous position, just from the draft alone. Yeah, when did you play this game? Was it yesterday?
No, I think like a week ago.
A week ago. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna start on just mentioning to you, like, do you see what's wrong with your starting item build? I talked about this yesterday, right?
I use this every hero I play.
Yeah, but now you know, like, it's probably
Mm.
not that good, right? To start out
Yeah.
with so much regen. Yeah. So we mentioned this like when I was watching a replay. Like, this is overkill on regen. This used to be like a good build long time ago, and there's one courier and mid laner needed courier. But now that you have solo courier, yeah, like don't do this. Like, you're gonna want to have more damage. That's gonna help you like get more last hits and thus, like, give you more gold and stuff like that. So even Arteezy and Miracle, like, they just start with one tango and bring out more regen.
Okay.
Yeah.
The battle begins.
So start this game, you actually skill up mana break, that's fine, you do this. You want to be careful sometimes if there's like 3 heroes who are here. It could be really scary for you if you lose all your HP or something like that, but that's okay. So we're gonna be watching here. Just let me know if like something comes to your mind and you want to just talk about it, okay?
Okay.
Like while I'm just like quickly watching this. So I like what you do. You're like very aggressive in terms of zoning them out and burning the mana of the enemy. And I just want you to know something. Do you see something happening with your creep waves right now?
It's getting pushed up.
It's getting pushed out, yeah. So what do you normally think, like, when this happens, when your lane starts pushing out and you're up here and the enemy's like low HP or something?
We're supposed to pull.
Is that what you're normally thinking, or is that like, what you learned and that's what you're trying to implement?
That's not what I think in game. Like, I only think if I'm watching replay. If I only
Okay. All right. So this is something like I want you to really think about, like, every game, right? If your lane starts pushing, like, I want you to already consider your support telling him, hey, go and pull the next wave. Like, already here, a lot of pro players, what are thinking minute 1 or like after the first wave, if the lane pushes like this already, it's very hard for you to micro the lane back all the way here without any pulls, right? And
yeah.
because it's lane push, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because that means this Rubik can't really just leave this and go here and stop the disruptor from stopping the pull. What's going to happen is you're going to be here with more creeps than the enemy, and you're going to deny all these creeps or harass his Dragon Knight. And he's going to feel terrible, right? If this Rubik leaves, the DK is going to feel bad. And your job as a safe lane, like, normally right now in Dota, like, it's very difficult to beat the enemy safe lane. Very hard. Unless you got completely outpicked. So here, like, you should, as a carry player, like, it's very important that, you call your support to go pull already.
Thanks.
You can see this disruptor, right? He's like kind of lingering here. But what if he was here and he was pulling, right? This next wave. Like, you can see he didn't really do anything for you
Thanks.
during all this time. He hit like this creep one time. That's all he did. But it would be far more effective if he was gone and you were still playing the same exact way that you were as if he was here. So, like, as a carry, it's still going to be your responsibility, because your support is not going to know what to do to, like, help your support, to better your own, like, gameplay. Because, like, right now, if you pulled here, the lane would actually fall back here already. The creep wave will come back. You would probably be, like, closer to level 3 by now. And then you can start applying pressure to the enemy again.
Okay.
Alright? So you would naturally get so much more farm and XP just by doing that. So your support goes back here now to pull. He's like stacking. I don't know what he's doing. And it feels like terrible. Like, he just has no idea what he's doing. And now you are the one suffering, because you're the one who has to farm right here in front of the enemy tower. And they can contest the last hits super easily up here. Where if it's up here, you can just pull aggro, right, off the enemy heroes.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yeah. I mean, you're really good at, like, not being afraid of the enemy and farming the creeps. And you pull the aggro here. I love that. That's really good. You go in for the deny. Or no, you go for the last hit. They get the other creep. That's okay. He gets his courier. I know sometimes it's hard to micro that when you're so focused on creeps. doing a really good job at burning both of their mana and utilizing your regen that you have as of right now. Oh, it's not bad. I mean, a lot of these players, they're not that good at last hitting in comparison to you, actually. And I think that's like your biggest strength right now. And I see why like you buy more regen is because it just makes you feel more comfortable, right? To buy so much regen, and you're so fine with like trading a bit more in the early game. Because these guys are like not as good as last hitting, that's for sure. Here you make sure that the lane push in only right in front of your tower. You don't like go into your tower. And you guys are actually winning this top lane very hard, to be honest. So we're gonna see what changed. Okay, so here, like, you see what you did here? It's okay to harass and be aggressive, but do you think this was worth it for you?
No, I missed the range. Which is very good.
I think you missed more than a range creep, right? So
I missed.
that was 3 creeps, right?
Yeah.
So like the thing is, this DK, he's here, he's running, so he's actually not contesting your farm anyway, right? So it's kind of like irrelevant to jump this guy unless you're 100% sure you're gonna kill him. But then again, he's a Dragon Knight.
Yeah, but I feel like if my disruptor does the wall thing, I have to help him.
Exactly, that's the thing. You were pressured by your ally to do something, right? And this is where like you need to make a judgment as a carry player and figure out what's the best situation, right? If this guy does this and then you're thinking like, hey, it's a DK, I can't kill him, you just ignore him, right? You just let him know I can't kill him. I mean, I'm gonna miss too many creeps. Say whatever you need to say, right?
I could have been 27 last hits.
Exactly, and that's 150. That's a lot. That's all that's gonna slow down your battlefield timing more and more and more, throughout the game, right? So you don't really want to do that. And oh, I just wanted to mention one thing. Like normally, I really don't like this build where like people go 3 branches on their carries. 2 branches is fine. It gives you potential to build up like a magic wand if you need to.
What build should I do?
So normally you bought a lot of regen, right? What you want is like you want to buy the circlet instead, or a slipper if you want even more damage. And you can also have like a fairy fire.
1 tango, 1 slipper, 1 circlet, 1
Quelling blade.
and then 1 free fire if I want to.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can have like 2 branches, right? But I think fairy fire is nice. You cannot get the slipper. You can just get circlet. Then you can have like 2 branches, fairy fire, tango, quelling blade, right? That's like also good. Whatever fills out your damage really well, and then you just bring yourself regen right away with the early bounty rune.
Okay.
So as soon as you get the bounties, you bring out more regen for yourself, and then you can just last it and deny more creeps than the enemy because you have more damage than they do. And then 3 branches for me is like overkill, and the early circlet that you bought is like building up to your wraith band anyway, so you're gonna buy that item anyway. So it's like super efficient, your build.
Okay.
Yeah. And don't feel bad like if you need to take some regen from your teammate too, your support or something. Like if he has a flask, you know. It's really nice actually when position 5s buy flask early and like they flask you instead or something like that. Like it can really help you quite a bit. But obviously in your bracket that's probably not gonna happen, so just bring more regen with the courier. That's fine.
I have so much regen with the Ring of Hell.
Sorry?
I have 10 regen with the Ring of Hell.
Oh yeah, exactly. For sure. And you at this point you don't need any more, right? You're already pretty good. So right now you would actually have 30 lasts. Like that's amazing for 5 minutes. That's like essentially free farm, right? You're doing way better than every other player in this game as well. Like that's pretty much your biggest strength right now. It's like you're really, really good at last hitting for like the bracket that you're in. Get those creeps, very good. And then you help go for the Rubik, very good play. This is completely worth it. And this guy glimpsed the DK, also nice. burn some of the mana. So here you see a Visage who rotated top with a DD, you blink instantly out, and you go straight into the jungle camp. I love that. You're like, I'm telling you, like, this is your biggest strength. I guess that you learned is that you never waste time. You're always like trying to farm and hit creeps, no matter what. Then the moment the Visage leaves, you go back into the lane. That's great.
Dire's middle tower.
You're really chasing this Dragon Knight down, huh? Have you ever bought Orb of Venom on Anti-Mage before?
No.
Okay.
I only bought the only time I've ever bought Orb of Venom is on Ogre.
Ogre? Oh, okay. Well, I guess like it doesn't really matter. I don't want to like affect your playstyle too much because it's not like something important. But I have seen a lot of carry players who buy Orb of Venom on Anti-Mage and Monkey King when they're playing against like melee offlaners. But obviously, like it might mess with like your mindset of how to play this hero. So don't worry about it. But if at some point you feel like you have time to experiment with something, feel free to try it. You know. And see how you like it, because the way you play, like, it could be very effective. Just don't feel too pressured to always kill people because you have Orb of Venom, but it's like a tool where you scare the enemy not being able to like walk up and farm in front of you.
I fell off on last hits because I chased too much.
Yeah, you did chase a lot there, but that DK kill was probably pretty worth it, honestly. Because you know that one you're gonna surely get, right? Like you have boots and he's very low and stuff. Like you got the last hit, even you miss some last hits because of it, that's okay at this point in the game. As long as you know you're gonna get the kill, it's okay, right? It's when you're not gonna get the kill and the enemy is already not contesting your farm, that's when it's bad. All right, so don't think like, oh, I'm gonna miss these last hits, so I don't want to chase after this guy. But if you know you're gonna get the kill for sure, then you go for it, because that means that he can't contest your farm anymore, and he's dead and he's not farming either. So you're gonna like guarantee all the future last hits because of what you did, and you're getting XP and gold and whatever else. So for me, that chase was completely fine, completely worth it, because those are like sure kills that you know you will get. So we're gonna keep on going forward here.
Dire's bottom tower.
And here, like this, at this point in the game, it's 8 minutes in, right? And you have like no neutral items. So the moment that you push out this lane here, right, and the wave goes into the tower, I think you don't need to do these moves anymore. What do you think?
Yeah.
Right? Like you're harassing him. Sorry, go ahead.
Wasting my time.
Right. You're wasting your time completely. This DK, like at 8 minutes in, it's really hard to stop an enemy offlaner now from getting XP or gold, because anyone on the enemy team can easily just TP to your tower, start pressuring you, or maybe even bring your life to like 20%, and then you can't even jungle. It feels terrible, right? So like kind of after 7 minutes, I would say, especially when the neutral items are spawning, like laning stage is essentially over. That's the time when people start rotating around the map, you know, doing things. Maybe the enemy mid laner comes top with a rune, tries to pressure you or something. So at this point in the game, your number one goal, at least from what I've seen, is like you always should try to just push the lane out really fast. If it's like up here or whatever area, push the lane out and just go jungle, right? Jungle something, you can maximize your gold, maximize your XP. Maybe when the creep wave comes back up here, you lose one melee creep, but that's okay because you farm jungle camps instead. And you probably have a neutral item and you're going to get more XP than the enemy at this point. Right? The only time you want to go on this guy is if your support is like, hey, we can kill him, let's go. But obviously at this point, this DK is like level 4 resources sitting in front of his tower. Pressuring him isn't going to do you anything anymore.
And my disruptor also left, so there's no. He's quite far. Yeah,
exactly. So like here, like you make this play, like to harass him. It's a good mindset to keep the enemy down and all, but it's like you even take some tower shots. You know, it's like you're at 500 HP. You're feeling like, you know, it's just not a good feeling, right? Like he farmed all those creeps anyway, the Dragon Knight. Whereas at this point, you could have pushed this, send the creep wave into a tower, gone straight into this jungle camp and farmed it. Ideally, you're farming this, but somebody stacked this like 3 times. So you're not farming this big camp at all, right? especially if you're AM. If you're AM, like you don't want anybody to stack this for you, man. You surely just want to farm that every time you can. Because at this point, you have Power Treads, Wraith Band, Ring of Health.
Denied.
You're good to go. You can farm so freaking fast in the jungle already
Your
by now.
magic ends here.
Alright, so use the creep wave comes to you. So this is where, like, I think you would have farmed big camp, you would have farmed small camp before the creep wave even got here. The enemy creep wave. And then you would have came back here and you would have farmed like 6 creeps.
I think I lost motivation to farm camps because of the stack.
Because of the stack? Yeah, I know. It's very annoying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually seriously annoying. What I would do in this situation is like tell your mid laner, be like, yo, come here, let's farm this triple stack or whatever. Right? Like you have to get somebody to come here and kill this shit. Because if someone on your team doesn't kill it, then someone on the enemy team will kill it. Right? Or they will use this to deny your creeps.
Yeah. Or Disruptor could press Q on the
Yeah, it's not gonna do that much damage, right? It's like a satyr and like there's like magic resistance and stuff. Like you definitely needed like someone like a mid laner to come there to clear this camp for sure. Like it's so hard for you guys to actually clear this camp without losing like all your health or something like that. Ideally, your freaking support is not stacking this like crazy for no reason, you know? If he wants to stack, he should stack elsewhere, that's for sure. Especially when you're anti-mage. So yeah, like I get what you mean. You got demotivated, and look at that. That big camp is gonna be, you know, such a nuisance for you. That's for sure. So here you guys really go for the DK, and this is like one of the bad chases, right?
Yeah.
Do you see why it was a bad chase?
Mana avoiding a strength hero.
Yeah, but it's also like, you know that there's no chance you're gonna kill this Dragon Knight, right?
Yeah.
He has like freaking 13 armor sitting in front of a tier 1 where anybody can TP and they can just stop you from farming, right? Or like stop you from going on this guy. And when that happens, it feels terrible. And you also lost like 40% of your HP. So like it's just altogether bad like vibes, and also like they pulled this creep wave and you lost all 4 creeps here too. So overall, like right now looking at this, you could have over 60 last hits in this game. Right? In an ideal situation where like you're just more focused on your farm after the 7-minute mark, especially.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
So you kill the small camp, good. You go back to the wave. You start pushing. You start to push this lane out so you can go jungle. You harass this guy. Can't really do anything because he's a Dragon Knight. Disruptor is still top. And like, you know what you can do in these kind of games? Like, what, at 7 minutes or 8 minutes, you have Ring of Health and Treads. Is there anything you can tell your Disruptor?
Take the lane, let him give him XP, and then go
Sure. Yeah, that's one option for sure. You can do that. You can definitely just tell him take the lane. You can go with your Treads, Ring of Health, jungle, or you can tell him another option, and that's you can ask him to go pressure elsewhere on the map, right? Maybe he could go bottom and start pressuring this Juggernaut with 3 heroes, and you could just shove the top lane out and farm the jungle camps here. Right?
Yeah.
And that would free up your Disruptor from doing so. Because this Disruptor is constantly top, you feel like you need to stay in this top lane with him. Right? And like try to kill this DK. Like this guy keeps pinging this DK. I know he has ulti and he's like, oh, let's go, let's kill this Dragon Knight. But I imagine it's just not worth it, you know? Like even his first ulti, using it against a Dragon Knight, doesn't feel good. It really doesn't feel good. Like all these moves just don't feel good. And like by staying here with so many heroes, you're actually forcing the enemy to come here, and now they're kicking you out of your lane, and they're just gonna take your tower for free. Right?
Yeah.
But if let's say your Disruptor, you tell your Disruptor, let's say, hey Disruptor, I'm fine top now, can you go bottom? He goes bottom, they apply pressure here, maybe everybody starts running bottom now. Right? Maybe all the heroes start running bottom, and that means you're free here without any pressure on you.
Yeah.
Makes sense? So it's gonna be your responsibility as a carry to, when you're strong, when you feel strong, and you already have items where like then you cannot die, you tell your support to like what to do next. Like maybe, hey guy, go bottom and pressure the Juggernaut, I'm fine top, and then you can just farm here. And because like you guys keep trying to kill this DK top 11 minutes in, they bring heroes and you die. I'm gonna go back and look at that one more time, how you died too. You actually blinked. You try to mana void him. It doesn't work out because he's a DK, obviously. Oh, you actually blinked in. Okay. You don't want to do that, right? To a Visage. As an anti-mage. Definitely don't want to blink on top of a Visage. He has like... Look at his damage. He has 130 something damage. It's like blinking into a TA, right? You don't want to blink into a TA either. And you can see those early like iron branches that you bought, they haven't felt so good for you either. You ended up just having to sell them instead. So now you've TP'd bottom. Sorry, TP mid, started jungling, and the enemy is like trying to go for the next tower already. And now you've gone back to the top lane. I'm just watching like what's happening around the map while you're also farming, because I assume you're just going jungle to jungle and pushing out this lane and such.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Okay, so here, right? I kind of like what you did, right? Like you were here, you TP'd here, you farmed this. Okay, I'm just gonna go back and show you your farming pattern here, because this is not just anti-mage only, right? This is like every carry. Okay, so your top lane was taken. Your top lane was taken because, you know, they rotated and did this, right? Your team took the bottom tower, which is amazing, right? And from this position, like what were you thinking at this point? If I may ask you, after you TP mid and started farming this, what's your next course of action after they take this tower?
I wanted to go to the ancient camp, but I'm not sure if I did.
Okay. It's very hard though, right? For you to take the ancient camps right now, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. Okay. So I'm going to play forward a little bit and you just see the progress on this map. So CK is farming here, you're farming here, that's perfect. And you go top side to this camp here, also fine. And I think like there's two things I want you to think about, okay? So I see why you went top side, because the CK was in this area already, right? Like you can see it on the minimap, and you're really good at like not trying to like farm where your team is farming. In the future, I want you to consider when you're playing AM and your team already took this tower, it's like I want you to play in this area a lot more, especially from Dire, right? Like I said, there's ancients here in this area, okay? And the reason why you want to play in this area is because you're anti-mage, you're a burden to your team, okay? At this point in the game, your team is just trying to make space and try to farm for you. But what you can do for your allies is you can farm the enemy's camps, and you can farm where the enemy feels pressured by you. So even though you're at AM and you need to farm your Battle Fury and your team needs to buy time for you, you can still apply pressure to them by farming in a place where like you're being annoying, okay? So if you're farming in this area, like at 12 minutes in the game and so on, when you know both towers are dead, you're not really applying any pressure to the enemy, are you?
Yeah, not really.
But if you farm here and you farm the wave here and you're constantly making the creep waves go into this tower, it's like someone has to TP back down here to stop that wave from pushing. Meanwhile, you're still farming the same amount, right?
Okay.
And if people start contesting you down in this area, then you can just make your way back up to this area and start farming in this triangle.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So like you're always putting yourself in a position where you're ready to push the lanes out if nobody else on the enemy side is there. And that's like so annoying if you played against that ever.
So like farming but ratting at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. You're farming but you're ratting at the same time, and because you're like, for example, AM, you can just blink out, right? As soon as you see a hero, you just blink out instantly. Or you feel like people are going off the map, you just blink out. Sorry, I'm just gonna go to Dire Vision as well for you, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So in this game, I like what you did here because the CK was already in this area, and now you just feel like you want to push his top lane out, which is perfect, right? So you push his top lane out. I like it. Your team is fighting around mid. They're trying to like, you know, stop the enemy from taking your mid tower. It's all good. You push this lane out. Perfect. Then here, what happens is you see a DK TP, right? What is going through your mind right now?
Uh, I should get back go jungle.
Okay, that's good. Do you think there's a better or another possible option because you just saw everybody mid lane, and the DK just TP top? Exactly, right? Like this, if you look around the map right now, if you see the waves here, and the wave is like pushing this deep, and you know a DK TP top, what does that mean? This DK can't be bottom, right? So that's like a big signal for you. And by you TPing bottom and like picking up this big creep wave, you can already start doing that move where like you're pushing this lane out, right? And if Juggernaut decides to stay bottom, then sure, you just go here, jungle here, or you just jungle here, right?
And wait for the creeps to push into tower, and then that's it.
Exactly. Or you can just wait for, you know, the Juggernaut to show somewhere else or TP somewhere else, and you can just go back and do that again. Like, it's your job to look at the minimap, see where like the enemy is pressuring, and try to farm on the opposite side.
Okay.
Right? Because like right now you push this, is amazing, right? And if this creep wave was like over here, then it's okay for you to go jungle here. That's perfectly fine. But because there's a massive creep wave coming in bottom soon, and the DK TP top, it feels like a good move to go here, because not only are you kicking the Juggernaut out of the bottom lane, you're farming bottom, and you're also in a position to start pressuring another lane. It's like exactly what you did in this position, right? Why did this DK TP top? Because you pushed this lane all the way here.
Yeah.
Right? So as a carry, making enemies TP around the map constantly is like pressure. You're actually applying pressure by doing that. Because now this DK cannot connect with this team easily. He has to sit here, he has to farm all these creeps very, very slowly, and then he needs to go back to his team, to go back to this mid lane and push the tower. And by what you did here, by pushing this all the way to this tower, is you just bought yourself like a minute and a half of farm. And your allies at the same time. So a carry doesn't mean that you just have to be like super greedy and just farm or something. You can also be applying pressure while farming just as fast.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And you can see it, like this tower, you know, now your team, someone on your team has to TP down here and clear this. But if you're the one who TP'd down here and clear this, then your team can focus on, you know, making some moves on the map, right?
Yeah, so I have to be more aware of
Exactly. Exactly. Be more aware of the map and like see like, oh, this DK, he's the stunner on the enemy side and he's the one who can kill me. He TP's top. That means the opposite side of the map is free for me. I can go and farm there. Yeah. You see now how like this support Mirana now had to TP bottom, and like she's not gonna stay here long, right? She's not gonna be doing a lot of stuff down here either. And even your CK TP bottom too. So you see how like the chain reaction from like you not picking up this entire creep wave and all this like kind of like free farm area for you, that is, because you know you won't die, right? The reaction, how it forced 2 of your allies to TP in this lane. Not only one, just 2 of them. First Mirana, then the CK TP there too.
I feel like my problem is I use TPs to get out of base. Like,
Right.
As actively.
Right. Like AM is this hero who is always trying to like mirror, you know, it's like a yin yang, right? It's like they come top for you, you go instantly bottom. They come bottom for you, you go top. Right? And if your TP is on cooldown, then you just start blinking backwards into jungle camps until your TP is up again. Okay? And that's like really the power of Anti-Mage, because he can always like blink. He has so much mobility. And get out of, you know, bad situations. And here the DK kicks you out of the lane. And you can see how like, you know, your mid lane is kind of vulnerable now because CK is bottom, you're top, you know. It's like your team can't, you know, go together at this moment. It's okay. Let's move forward with this replay.
Dire's middle tower.
So you're still playing around top, and now the Void Spirit TP bottom starts pushing out the bottom lane. You got Battle Fury now, so you're like gonna be really good at farming fast. You keep applying pressure top. You bring like 2 heroes here. Amazing. This is actually a really good place because you brought like 2 heroes into this lane.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So you push out mid, you see the enemies here, they chase you.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is
Yeah,
under
okay.
attack. Scanning.
So this is for me like the biggest issue as of right now. So for like 18.5 minutes, whatever, you never entered this area of the jungle. Okay? So as an anti-mage, especially as a carry, like it's very important that you play in the enemy safe lane, because that's the best place for you to apply any pressure and bring people back to a lane. And especially from Dire, if you... Sorry, go ahead.
At what minute should I
Like,
start playing?
Anytime after this tower dies, or after 10 minutes, that's fine too.
Okay.
Like, it's anytime after this tower dies, or like around 11-12 minutes, like it's really good for you to start invading this area. Maybe it's really good with the 10-minute catapult, you help the offlaner take this tower, right? And you just say like, hey, I want to stay down here and farm, right? Because if you can somehow take over this area and you have like a ward or something here or over here that can see the enemy movements, you can farm ancient camp here, you can farm ancient camp here, you can farm 2 camps here, you can farm every wave that comes in bottom too. Meanwhile, if the enemy needs to react to you, they need to come to this area of the map, bottom here. And that's very bad. You know why? Because that means they can't farm all of this. And they can't take Roshan either. So, because like for 90 minutes now, you've been kind of like staying up here, it feels like the enemy is able to just do whatever they want on this map. They can choose to go top, they can choose to go mid, they can choose to go bottom. They could have even gone and killed Roshan already by now with this Visage. And meanwhile, there has been no pressure being applied in this bottom area of the map that forces them to come back.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and also, during this time, you have not been able to farm a single ancient camp, right?
Yeah.
And the way that you can farm an ancient camp is by always constantly pushing this lane bottom, so you can go back to the ancient camp and farm it. And that would amplify your farming speed for sure. And also give more space to your allies too. So you're doing like a lot of good things for your team all at the same time by doing that. What you're doing here is not that bad by pushing this top lane in, but it's like...
It's not the most efficient.
Exactly. For sure.
Shadows take us.
Radiant's middle
So here the enemies are bottom, and this at this moment is the correct play for you to keep on going top, right? Because you see everybody bottom. You see all 3 of their cores. And I would have liked it if you did take this top tower, you know? Because like if you unless you're knocking on this door right now, unless you're knocking on this tower, the enemy won't stop going bottom. Right? Yeah. So like earlier when you saw them like already taking the tier 1 and you push this in, you need to be knocking on this, and you need to keep an eye on your minimap, one eye on your minimap, and watch the DK, right? Like you have to think when you're playing carry, who on the enemy team, if they're missing, can kill you. And in this game it's just a Dragon Knight. Or maybe Earth Spear, right? So when the Dragon Knight is showing on the map, then you can push all you want, because you have no fear of dying. But if the Dragon Knight moves off the minimap for like 2 seconds even, that's the time you jump out.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to like keep on, you know, using this big creep wave to pressure this tower. So by knocking on this door, you can make the enemy stop their push bottom and TP top lane. And then you go up back, you farm a camp, you see nobody bottom, then you TP bottom. And you start pushing this lane out, right? So because you're no one on your team and you yourself are not knocking on any doors, what happens is these guys just keep on going. They just go for the next tower. They're like, oh hey guys, there's no pressure on the map, let's go for the next tower.
I obviously now I hear it, but then I don't know how to apply it. I panic, you know.
Yeah, right. And that's where like, you know, practice makes perfect, right? It's okay if there's some games you apply it, maybe apply it a little wrongly, but like you will naturally grow and get better, right? It's like important to break down some bad habits to build up the good ones. And you will fail sometimes, right, doing it, and you might even die here and there, but you will know that you're doing the right thing, and like you will learn from that experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So you take the tier 1, and now the enemy Juggernaut TP's here. Perfect, you're good, you go back. You take the bounty runes. I love that. You farm the camps that Juggernaut's gonna farm next. I love that too. That's amazing. Now this Juggernaut feels bad. He can't farm these. You look bottom. Probably there's not any good opportunities to TP in there, honestly. Yeah, you really cannot fight up against the Visage in this game.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Ooh, that hurts. Okay, so here I'm gonna teach you one more thing, right? So when you're playing in games and you know, like I said, yin yang, right? So let's say like this is the white side and this is like the black side of the yin yang or whatever, and then you know the enemy's on the black side here, right? And you know this is gonna be the white side because they're all here. So when you're split pushing or you're on the mid lane and you're doing this stuff, I love this stuff, by the way. I love when carries, when mid laners just quickly push mid out and get out, because mid wave, whoever has control of the mid lane can pretty much control the game, essentially. So you push out this lane, and then like you need to understand that the enemy is on the black side of the map, right? So here, whatever you did was fine. The only problem was that you blinked into the black side of the map here. Right?
Yeah.
So here, instead of blinking back or even a neutral place, you know the enemy's on the black side. If you blinked even over here, you would actually never die. And you could go back top and you could start doing the same thing again. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
But because you like blink towards the area where the enemy, like part of the yin yang where like the enemy is, that area, like you kind of just died because of that. But if you actually started blinking towards the white side where the enemy is not, then you would have been amazing here. Like you would have been split pushing again. You would have pushed this lane out. You would have pushed them all the way here. You would have forced some other reaction, and enemy can't take Roshan because his lane would be up here. But now you're dead, so it kind of hurts, right? So wherever the enemy bring like 2 to 3 heroes, that's gonna be like the black side, and you want to farm in the white side. So when if you push here and 2-3 heroes TP up here, then you know this becomes the black side, then you just go to the white side down here and you start farming. And you start split pushing. And that's pretty much the story of Anti-Mage, honestly, like throughout this game. And at this point I understand like why you lose this game is because they have like the super strong physical damage, aura item, team, and they just do so much tower damage. So anytime your heroes die, it's like impossible for you to, defend a tower.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And at this point, like, you didn't even get you didn't even get your Manta, and the game just feels kind of over, right? Okay, we're gonna stop right here. I think this is probably enough for this replay already. Yeah, so like their lineup, like I said, their lineup is just too good, and there's no fights where you could have TP to and use one mana void to kill someone. Like they don't have a Storm, they don't have a Queen of Pain, they don't have like a Pugna or a Leshrac, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so the pick wasn't really good.
Yeah, that's one thing. The pick wasn't that good to begin with, the Anti-Mage. Your teammates' picks are like, they're pretty bad too. They don't have any wave clear, not really that strong team fighters. But even though the pick wasn't good, there's still a lot that you could have done in the game to buy more time for yourself and your allies to finish your items.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the biggest lesson in this game. And that's you need to try to maximize your farm more after like, let's say 7 minutes, when obviously the jungle neutral items are here and your enemy offlaner is already like in a position where he's unkillable. This Dragonite was already unkillable by then. So maximize your farm that way. Then also, secondly, like try to play more in your enemy safe lane, especially when you're dire, because there's an ancient camp here, and you can still apply pressure to the enemy by sending creep waves into their tower and making them think about TPing there and defending that tower. And by doing that, you can relieve pressure from your allies. Because if you don't do that, then your team is always fighting 5 versus 4.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really good, like, to make sure that creep waves are getting pushed into the tower and bring somebody to TP there. And as soon as they do that, you jump to the other side of the map and do the same thing on the other side of the map. And you just keep doing that. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat until, you get your items that you need to be able to pick people off on your own. Because that's what Anti-Mage does, right? He picks people off. And he's super annoying and very, very difficult to catch. Yeah. Alright, you have any other questions about this game?
Not really.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Grunt said, another thing worth mentioning about playing on the enemy side is that you can take away more risk because the enemy won't be in a position to punish us severely if they actually do catch you out. And that's true. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
So what that means is that when you're playing the enemy safe lane and you're farming there, even if they do catch you or try to kill you, that means that they cannot make another move right after so quickly, because it's like the furthest point on the map to like one of your towers that they can like connect the kill into. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you're Anti-Mage, you're Dire, and you die bottom lane, like in front of the tier 2 or something, it's hard for them to go and connect that kill into a tower because they need to run so far. And during that time, your team can push out all the lanes as well. So that's also another reason why the enemy doesn't want to come and catch you, because they feel like it's a waste of time. You're an Anti-Mage. They don't even know if they can even kill you to begin with, right? This is like something Ice does so well, especially when he plays Timbersaw. He's always like farming in front of the enemy face and like in the enemy safe lane, and he's like forcing people to come there, and when they come there, his team farms like 1,000 net worth when they do that. And at the same time, he lives. He just like timber chains out, he just runs away. So it's like very similar to Ice gameplay when he plays heroes like Timbersaw. But you're doing that with like a carry hero who's very difficult to kill.